What's good? It's your boy 2K here. I'm in the whip right now, driving back to the crib. Just spent an extra 2 hours in my office watching media workouts, watching the weigh-in, looking at the stare down. And man, I'm just gonna say it, man, I don't like Vasyl Lomachenko's demeanor. And I talked about this with a couple fellas that's involved with the movement. And shout out to one of my subscribers, Felix Cuba. He sent me a very informative link. And it was a link to the very last interview that Vasyl Lomachenko had with ESPN. And in watching that, Tim Bradley, he shares the same sentiment, right? Vasyl Lomachenko going into this bout seems a bit lackadaisical. For you dumb niggas out there, yo. Lackadaisical means he lacks enthusiasm, right? He's not very enthusiastic about this fight. Watching the media workouts, man, I'm looking at Vasyl Lomachenko. You know, he's doing some footwork in the ring, doing some shadow boxing. He's hitting the bag. Then he goes to the speed bag and he's joking around with the media. He's laughing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Doing this little move where he's hitting the speed bag, then he spins, hits it with his elbow, and then catches the speed bag and continues to hit it with his fist. Shit look nice as fuck. But doing something like that, you know, playing around during training, that's not something I think he should be doing for a fight of this magnitude. Now, I did mention with cats in the movement that there's a possibility that he just does this in front of the media, right? That when the cameras are off, that's when he does his real fucking training. That's when he's serious, right? But it's just not a good look in the media, especially when you got the other guy in Guillermo Rigondeaux training as if this fight could be his last. You know what I'm saying? He's training like his fucking life depends on this fight. Guillermo Rigondeaux was training in the media workouts as if motherfuckers kidnapped his family and was holding him at ransom and told him, if you lose this fight, I'ma kill him. That's how this nigga was training, man. You know what I'm saying? Rigo's not fucking playing. And in that interview, Tim Bradley he sees the same thing. And he even asked Loma, you know, I'm paraphrasing, you know, 2K translated. But my man was like, yo, you seem to be a bit even killed for this fight, a fight of this magnitude. You know what I'm saying? You know, why is it that you're so even killed? And Loma even mentioned something himself out of his own mouth that I told y'all it wouldn't matter. I told y'all in the last video where I did the official prediction. And then I told you in the video before that where I talked about the 138 rehydration clause that Rigo was able to gain, right? Size don't matter. But see, Vasyl Lomachenko, his answer to Timothy Bradley was basically like, yeah, you know, I'm confident because he too little. Can't fuck with me. You know, he a little nigga. That was his response. Not exactly, of course, 2K translated, but that was his response. He's too big for Rigo. Bruh, a guy with Rigo's upper echelon talent and ring IQ, that shit does not matter. We've seen that too many times in the history of the sport where guys move up exorbitant amounts of weights and they're still successful. First one that comes to mind while I'm talking right now, Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard, man. You know what I'm saying? But a guy that's been very successful, where his power didn't transfer, right? Up in weights, Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know, Floyd Mayweather's a natural junior lightweight, right? Shit, in the amateurs, he fought as a fucking featherweight, right? He moved all the way up to 147 and 154. And if you want to be real, Floyd Mayweather's walk-around weight, when he moved up like that, could have been said to be 147, right? Just like Rigo's walk-around weight is probably about 126. You know what I'm saying? Within the 126, a little higher than that, within the 130-pound limit. That's why he had no trouble making 128 pounds, which is what he weighed in for this fight, and he still looked bristled. It's his walk-around weight, man. Right? So that's what Floyd was doing when he moved up to 147, 154. He was essentially fighting somewhat at his walk-around weight, a little bit out of his comfort zone, above his walk-around weight. What was Floyd able to do? He was able to display the fact that he has such great technique that he could stop even bigger men in their tracks with well-placed shots. That's what Floyd showed us, coupled with an excellent defense. One of the best defenses in boxing history. Who fights like that tomorrow? Guillermo Rigondeaux, people. You know what I'm saying? He fights the same way. An excellent defense, one of the best defenses we've seen in boxing history. One of the best guys that displays an excellent display of footwork in boxing history, right? And he's able to stagnate fighters with well-placed shots. So what I think is going to happen here is something similar to what Floyd Mayweather was able to do when he moved up in weight, 147, 154. How you think Floyd stopped big-ass Canelo in his tracks? And he's a natural junior lightweight. At that time, he was a natural 147, 140, but he stopped the bigger guy in his tracks, right? Rigo's gonna have the same ability, people. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. And the fact that Loma is so fucking lackadaisical going into this fight, dog, that's not a good look, man. Whoever's advising him, fucking Aegis Clemus, his manager, he needs to tell old boy to wake the fuck up, man. This ain't a game, B. This ain't no fucking game, dog. You know, if you look at the guys that Loma's fought prior, he really ain't had to train that hard for these cats, with exception to Gary Russell Jr. You know what I'm saying? He was just way better than these guys. I'm sure he had to train hard for Gary Russell, right? But Nicholas Walters, he was on a fucking 11-month layoff. And he was too busy battling weight, trying to make weight. Motherfucker, I remember they announced this fight, the Loma Walters fight. This nigga fat as fuck. They showed this nigga, man. Nigga fat as fuck. Cheeks puffy like a newborn baby, nigga. Fuck out of here. He was too busy trying to lose the weight and shit during his training camp. Motherfucker was on an 11-month layoff and accepted the challenge 2 months out. Right? So Vasyl ain't had to train that hard for that fight. He just had to be himself. Orlando Salido, I don't think he trained that hard for that fight because he showed his inability to adapt, or at least he showed his ability to adapt too goddamn late. Let me say that, right? And then everybody else, Rocky Martinez, man, he's not that good of a fighter. I've already broken down his resume in other videos. I won't do it here. But he's not that good of a fighter, right? I don't have to go into other cats. So he's never really, if you look at his resume, he's never had an opponent where it's like, man, he had to train really hard to beat those guys. No, his natural ability, his natural athletic ability, his natural talent was good enough to beat these guys. Now, I'm not saying that Vasyl doesn't train hard, people, for you dumb motherfuckers out there that are going to get this shit misconstrued. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, Vasyl, there's a possibility in his training camps, he doesn't train very hard. Hence the reason why he's so lackadaisical, right, leading up to this fight. And given his resume, it supports that, right? So I don't know, man. I just want to get my thoughts on this shit. For Loma, man, this ain't no game, bruh. This ain't a game, and I hope for your sake that you being lackadaisical like this is just for the media. Behind the scenes, you're really doing what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a killer standing across from you. And as you seen in that post that I put up in the beginning of this video, it was a Twitter post that Guillermo Rigondeaux put up right after the weigh-in. And by the way, people, a lot of cats over there saying that Rigo doesn't control his Twitter. He confirmed that he does control his Twitter. So all that shit talking, that came from Rigo. It ain't come from nobody else. He confirmed it, right? But he made a post right after the win, like, yeah, you staring into the eyes of a killer, nigga. Bro. Man, I already told y'all, man, I got Rigo winning this fight. This is definitely, like I said, it's a 50-50 fight. Anything could happen. We got, Vasyl Lomachenko, who's an offensive genius, versus a defensive genius. And one more thing I want to add before I end this video. This matchup reminds me, I'll make an NBA comparison, right? For you little niggas, you might not remember this shit, but back in the early 2000s, you had the Phoenix Suns, right? They had Steve Nash, Shawn Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Boris Diaw, right? Roger Bell. High-octane offense. Coach was Mike D'Antoni, right? So they will go up against the San Antonio Spurs, right? Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. I think Mike Finley was on that squad. Bruce Bowen, Tim Duncan, right? They're going up against those cats. Who won the matchup 9 times out of 10? High-octane offense versus a high-octane defense. Who won the majority of those matchups? San Antonio Spurs. Why? Because of the defensive element, man. It's harder to master the element of defense than it is the elements of offense, right? Much harder, right? In this case, Rigo is a defensive genius who has an excellent display of an offensive arsenal, right? Meanwhile, Vasyl Lomachenko is an offensive genius who has just a decent, in my opinion, display of defensive ability. He's not a great defensive guy. Watch the Miguel Mariaga fight. Look at them ugly ass left and right hooks he was landing. You know what I'm saying? He's not a great defensive guy. In a matchup with an offensive genius and a defensive genius, I'm taking the defensive genius. And once again, I understand what people are talking about. You got a guy with high-level skill. You got 2 guys with high-level skill, and one's bigger than the other. More than likely, 9 times out of 10, the bigger guy is going to win. I understand that theory. But you got to take into account that the smaller guy is a guy with upper echelon IQ. One of the smartest boxers in the sport. In my opinion, the smartest boxer in the sport right now, right? In the absence of Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward. The smartest in the sport right now. When you add that element to that, it's not always the case that the bigger guy is going to win. Floyd Mayweather showed us that time and time again. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section, man. What do y'all think about Vasyl Lomachenko's demeanor, Rigo's demeanor? Do y'all think I'm looking too deep into this? And maybe Vasyl Lomachenko is just playing this way in the media? He takes it a lot more seriously when cameras are off, which is something we would never know, right? Or am I on to something? Let me know. Do what you do. This is real talk for real fans. 1.